Hi there, Claudia Lash, Presto Avenue Designs. Today I'm showing off a quilt that I made a few years ago, 2011 to be exact. In 2011, I think we had a new granddaughter arrive. Her name is Zoe, and I wanted to make her a quilt. And so I thought, Zoe zigzag. So this is Zoes Quilt, and it's not a really difficult quilt to make. I wrote a pattern for it, and I liked it because it has these nice big zigzags, which are pretty easy to make. The center section has some applique in it, but the applique is big, and I just used blanket stitch to go around them, and found this wonderful fat rickrack at the quilt shop. And I decided the rickrack was nice, but then I decided I wanted to do some stitching inside it just to show it off a little bit more. And it's, like I said, it's not a difficult quilt to make. It's one that I don't take as much anymore when I go to shows, but I like it because it's very versatile. I have a pattern available called Zoes Quilt. I decided after I made this one, this quilt pattern is so easy to switch up a little bit. So this is the original, and I'm going to show you another quilt using the same pattern where you can just use some fancy fabric instead of doing any applique. So we'll see that in just 1 minute. This quilt was made using the same Zoes Quilt pattern, except for I decided to heck with putting all those little appliques on. I would just put a big fabric or a showy fabric right in the middle, which is right here. I think this is about 18 inches wide, and I don't know how long. And then I could use this fabric in the outside edges too. Now the title of this quilt, or the name of this quilt, is called Wild and Crazy. It could be because of all these things going on, but I really like it. And I think that it's a good idea. I think it just gives me a lot of ideas of what you could do with this simple pattern, using the zigzags and using some very beautiful fabric that you find at the quilt shop. Another thing, I was at a quilt shop the other day and found a panel. And now the panel was a little wider than what I have here. But putting a panel in the middle and then putting the zigzags on the sides wouldn't require a whole lot of math. It'd still make a very nice quilt. So keep that in mind when you're using a pattern or making a quilt. You can make adjustments, and it's not that difficult to do. So this is Wild and Crazy. It's part of a Zoes Quilt remake, and I have one more remake which I'm going to show you in a second. My final Zoes Quilt is up here. This is Twirls, because Twirls with a Z, because we have the Z business going on with the zigzags. And these kind of look like they were twirling, so I thought, good name, Twirls. The background of the Twirls quilt in the inside is various black and white prints that are more white than black. I use several different ones. If you prefer, you could use just one print that would maybe unify it better, but I kind of like to have the interest of more than one, and I have a lot of I tend to have a lot of fabric, and I like to use up different ones in there. So, black and white's light in the center, color in the zigzag part, got a thread on there, and not hard to make, fun to make, I think, would be great for a kid quilt. And if you wanted to make it bigger, that wouldn't be that hard to expand it a little bit in all directions. So look for this pattern coming out pretty soon, because sometimes I just can't leave a quilt with just a quilt pattern with just one quilt. I have to keep making them. I like different things. I want to try them out in some new way. So check it out at Presto Avenue Designs in the hopefully future, and have a very good day with your quilting.